Well, it's a rainy spring day out here, so perfect day for shop tinkerings and whatnot. And I tell you, there's lots to do, but I'd like to introduce you today to this little fellow. This is a Goodell-Pratt power hacksaw. May I say the smallest power hacksaw. I'm sure someone will challenge me on that notion, but this really is a teeny tiny little power hacksaw that was intended for production work and was sold en masse, relatively on a large scale. So it uses standard hacksaw, hand hacksaw blades, which makes it convenient. It has a lever, one lever here on this one's case, which raises the whole saw carrier, and it cuts with a parallel stroke, unlike most of the hacksaws, the one that I restored, the heavy duty fellow over there. Parallel stroke, but there is no pressure relief on the return stroke, which is a bit of a bummer. But anyway, it's not like it's that heavy. There is a rack on the far side, like almost all power hacksaws have, to add weight to the cut, but I think that's quite unnecessary. Anyway, this thing is designed to cut in a package of about 4 by 4 inches, or 4.5 by 4.5 is what they advertised. So the little vise screw is there, and it can open up, and then the top, this can rise about 5 inches off the table. As most old flat belt line shaft era machines have had, this one's had a colorful life by its condition. It's in pretty darn good shape, to be honest. It's been cared for, probably repainted at some time, the base and the top section, but we have the original brass tags on top, Goodell-Pratt Company, Toolsmiths, Greenfield, Mass. And on the saw, the very cute badge, it says D. Mackenzie Machinery Company of Guelph, Ontario, specialty machinery, and a neat little crest in the middle. So presumably this was bought by a specialty company, an importer in Guelph, Ontario, Canada, from Goodell-Pratt or another distributor. And who knows where it was used, but I got it from a generous fellow into the Vintage Machines who gave it to me, and couldn't say no, of course. Although I don't really know what I'll do with it, but hey, that's for down the line to worry about. This table was added after the fact. They just used to stand kind of square with the pedestal, but it's a good idea. It means your offcuts won't fall onto the floor. And electric motor has been added. It's been electrified. Pretty well done job. The counter shaft is mounted very rigidly to the body. And then there's a pulley. Originally, these things would have been outfitted with a idler and driver pulley. And because of that setup, like many power hacksaws of the day, they had an automatic stop, so you could adjust it for the bottom of the stroke, and it would kick the belt into the idling position once the cut was gone through. So all I needed to do with this thing was put a new plug end on it, a male plug end. So no big deal. It's been well oiled already. I've gone over it, checked it. Tiny little 1/4 horsepower electric motor on the bottom. What else can I tell you? Goodell-Pratt. Let me get the documents here. Goodell-Pratt Company was around from 1895 to 1931. And it was started by the Goodell brothers, who were former employees or something to do with Miller's Falls of great fame. Miller's Falls, very well known hand and machine tool company of the early days. They went off on their own. And then guess what? In 1931, they were amalgamated back into Miller's Falls Company. This is according to vintagemachinery.org. So thanks for all this information. There's also a lovely manual or a catalog, a general sales catalog on Vintage Machinery. So I have this little excerpt. Power hacksaw number 30. No up-to-date shop of any kind can afford to be without a power hacksaw, and many shops would find more equally profitable. This power hacksaw is a simple but efficient machine. The raising and stop levers and vice handle are all at one end of the machine, which occupies very little floor space. These features will be appreciated in a large shop where one workman operates a battery of these machines. The illustration on the opposite page conveys a good idea of the general characteristics of the machine. The pulleys are small and the machine is geared down to the proper speed. The gears are machine cut, eliminating all noise, and are carefully fitted so that they will not slip. The machine is provided with an adjustable automatic stop which can be set to stop the saw at any desired depth or as soon as the work is completely cut off. The stop is connected with the clutch on the drive pulley so that it acts instantaneously. unfortunately, because this thing's an electric conversion, they did away with that whole contraption. The back of the saw frame runs in a guide, which in turn slides up and down on two perpendicular guide rods. The traveling motion is conveyed to it by a horizontal guide which runs parallel to the bottom of the vise. This feature enables the machine to be used for slotting of any desired depth. The vise will take work 4.5 by 4.5. It's operated by a handled screw in the front of the machine. The bed of the vise extends beyond the jaws, another feature of practical advantage. The tight and loose pulleys are 7 inches in diameter, geared 3-to-1. The pulley should run 150 RPM, making the blade travel at 50 strokes per minute, which is pretty common for power hacksaws, to obtain the best results. The frame is made to take either 10 or 12-inch hacksaw blades, 1 dozen 12-inch blades with each machine, floor space 25 by 15. That's pretty small. That's a pretty compact machine indeed. 25 by 15, full-size production powered hacksaw, quite a thing. This blade is, we'll say that's a 12-inch standard hand hacksaw blade. Price, $66 in the year 1926. Crated, which is with all the bells and whistles in the box, 214 pounds. So, I figure I've been doing lots of rambling here and you want to see it do something. So let's hit the switch and I'll show you the action. Because this thing is a conversion from the flat belt days, as soon as I turn it on, it's on. So I'll just raise this, not that this is going to cut anything, maybe I'll just leave it as it is and we'll hit the switch. The lights might flicker a little bit, she'll draw a little bit of startup power, and then sit here and run very smoothly. Lovely. Now it's kind of cool to note too that this there's a pitman arm which connects the saw carrier to the drive system. So there's a gear reduction from the shaft, from the input shaft, which is that 3-to-1 that they talk about. And the pitman arm that's actually reciprocating the system is made of wood. I assume that's to reduce mass. When you change the direction of mass traveling, you lower the momentum of the system and give it less, make it operate more smoothly and burn less power. Not that that would change all that much, but anyway, it's made of wood, which is quite cute, kind of like the old Singer sewing machines. So it's good and oily, that's for sure, but the whole thing, there's a little bit of slop in the system, but the gears are in fine shape. There's a little grease cup on the counter shaft, which is mounted to the base. So let's try to cut something for fun, see how it does. I assume also with the old setup and the stop system and all that type of thing, there was some way to lock this up. There is no way to lock it up now, so I'll just kind of hold this handle a little bit. This is just a little offcut from the forge of 1/2-inch hot rolled square, nothing much. So go ahead and clamp it down, and then for good measure, give it a little dollop of oil. Just a wee dollop of oil, like so. And I believe in the wise words of Forged in Fire, will it cut? An 1/8 of an inch through. Well, there it is. The piece is warm, but not hot. The surface finish is very nice. It's because it went through many strokes, and it's quite a fine tooth blade. Could be more coarse for cutting solid material like that, but it cut that off no problem. I wouldn't say in a rush, but it did its job. So that's a pretty cute little machine. I don't know what I'll use it for. I assume it was really intended for small precision factories, say the production of sewing machines, cash registers. Maybe in the firearm realm, this could definitely have a place. But yeah, 4x4 work envelope. I might have to go have a nap and come back by the time it was done cutting through that. But these hand hacksaw blades are an awful lot cheaper than power hacksaw blades, that's for sure. Power hacksaw blades, ooh-wee, take out a mortgage on the house. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this little demonstration of a very cute little vintage machine, the Goodell-Pratt number 30 power hacksaw, the little fella. And tune in again. There's lots of restorations in the works. Sitting right here, I'm about to rebuild a Rhodes shaper, LE Rhodes 7-inch shaper, another little small machine, and lots more tinkerings to come. So hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.